and we have the interior of the newspapers now, the Telegraph, Bruce. We have our very own Nigel Farage wondering what it would take to make him a Tory.
Yes, so he has hinted that he would be interested in a political return, but he would want a joint thing with Boris Johnson. He wouldn't return under Rishi.
No.
He's not interested in that at all.
Well, it sounds like that's no longer an option anyway.
Well, who knows? But so he finished, was the end of the jungle last night? He finished third. So a lot of people were saying, since they'd seen him at the Conservative Party conference last time, that this is all a PR thing to, I don't know if sanitise is the right word, but perhaps bring him to a new audience and show a different side of him.
A backside of him.
Well, I don't know if I want to see that myself, but to bring him back into the fold, and then I think he is quite interested. But a lot of people are saying that he could well be a Prime Minister in, not this election, but the following.
People who sat in that very chair have said it quite recently. I think it's quite interesting the way that Nick Dixon, I think it's quite interesting the way that the newspaper opinion, the commentariat or whatever, seem to be divided, as is quite common with this kind of thing, between, on the one hand, Farage is this terribly dangerous, demagogue in waiting who must be suffocated and suppressed and kept away from our screens all the time. And on the other hand, he's pathetic. Nobody's watching it. ITV made a mistake because ratings have plunged and he's been an absolute wet. Whereas in reality, I think the jungle experience has been pretty much it's okay, sort of worked all right.
But the thing I was just about to say, but the thing with the ratings is people have to remember that no one is sitting watching television in the way that they used to at the peak of these programmes sort of thing. So it's all...
Or even in the Matt Hancock era.
Did that actually exist? But it was interesting because he said, I'm looking at the Conservative government that is in total shambles just now, facing tomorrow effectively a confidence vote on an issue that affects everyone, that affects every living human being in our country, namely immigration, on a level that has never happened even during Tony Blair's days.
The one thing I would say is Boris was no better on that than Rishi has been. But go ahead, Liv.
But Boris won an election.
That is true.
I mean, he got the biggest majority in ages and ages and ages. Yeah. And also, Boris could win. If he came back with Farage, they could win. Yeah. Under Rishi, they're not going to win.
I would agree with you. And also, if they could create a plausible coalition with Reform. Yeah. Whereas I don't really see that happening with Rishi. I'd see Rishi as creating a more plausible coalition with Kearse, to be honest.